Hey, loves.
Welcome to Sierra and Ryan.
Talk the talk. Sierra and Ryan Talk the Talk is all about putting book talkers at the center of the story.
And we're here to find out everybody's main character moments. My name is Ryan, half of your hosting team at Rye_Brary on TikTok. And the other half is the brilliant Sierra.
Hi, I'm Sierra at CCB Reading on TikTok as well. This show, we want to know so much about all the other book talkers and learn about their personalities and their interests and what makes them so unique.
Yep. Today we have a very cool guest. One that, have been like fanning over.
You
We have
really have.
I mean, because a book recommendation, that has really just changed my year and the trajectory, even of how I'm writing. So, Jen Brooks at Ase Book Boutique. Ase is ASE with an apostrophe. And we'll get into the meaning of that hopefully within our interview. But Jen is incredible, has a great page, I believe is a teacher. And
Yes.
then also owns her own bookshop and gives out great recs that you can then go buy on the bookshop. I thought that was one of the coolest things.
I have quite a few questions for her about her reading choices and just the books that she's been recommending. There's one particular book that she's done like quite a few videos on it, so I'm interested to know what
Ooh.
her full synopsis or review on it is because I don't think she posted a review about it. But also, can we just say how gorgeous she is?
She said you actually made a really good. You said who was it that you said she looked like last time? And I was like, yeah.
Did I say Tony Braxton?
I think it was yeah. She could be a
She
Braxton for
She gives
sure.
me she gives me Tony Braxton vibes with that
Gorge.
face and that
Yep.
hair. Very
Yep.
stunning. So
So
I'm just really
beautiful.
interested to learn a lot about her, her interests outside of teaching and being a bookshop owner, which whenever I find that someone starts a bookshop, it's like, wow, what's the motivation there or how did we get there? Like,
Yep.
so I'm
And
just
how
really
has that
excited.
business changed since TikTok? It's crazy because they say, I think I've seen a lot of people where they're like, hey, look, I know that it might not seem like 11 likes is a lot on this is like random stuff, but if
Hmm.
11 people walked into my store today, I would be thrilled.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, I'm so curious to hear how that has affected the business overall. I'm sure it's been crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I think she's probably doing pretty well for herself, so I'm excited for her. All right, friend. With that being said, shall we have a talk?
Let's talk the talk.
Okay, everyone, we are back, and we are back with our beautiful guest today. Stunning, serving face. Everyone say hello to Jen from Ashe Book Boutique. Hello.
Hey y'all. Hello everybody.
How
Welcome,
are
welcome.
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We
Excited to
are
have you
very
on the show.
excited. Yeah.
Nice.
We are. We are. Quick rundown. You have 4,000 followers on TikTok.
We're getting somewhere.
You are, girl, you're doing it, okay?
Getting
Hello.
somewhere.
Yeah, yes. So let's
Yeah.
start from the beginning. Why TikTok? How did we get there? Give us the rundown.
Okay. Believe it or not, I hate social media. Okay. I am just not a camera girl. Like, I can surface all day. Yes, for me. Right. So, like, making videos and being in front of people is like a new thing to me. And when I tell people, like, I'm really shy, super introverted, they're like, ain't no way. Like, cut it out. But, like, seriously. So, internally, I'm like, who's going to make these videos? Girl, you. Like, you have to. So, I think I officially started TikTok in like July, like last summer sometime. And then my bookstore, my virtual bookstore was opening in November. And so I'm like, you got to really do it, Jen. Like, my self talk is insane. Like, I put myself up here, right? I'm like, you got to do it. Like, you have to just do a video. So, like, my first few videos are so cringy, but they've evolved, and like, I learned that you just have to be authentically you. Like, just be you, and your people will reach it, they'll catch it, and those who it's not for, it's just not for y'all. So here I
Yes.
am, slowly growing these followers and being on TikTok. I do love it now. I love the community of TikTok. I love like the people that you meet and all the encounters and the opportunities. So I do love it now. But at first, TikTok was a struggle.
I think everybody feels
Mm.
that way. And
Yep.
you're right. The book talk community does feel like such a really warm and welcoming family for the most part. I've yet to have any issues
Mhm.
with meeting people. Everyone seems to be really nice and accepting, which is very interesting because a lot of communities don't have that. So yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Jen,
Yeah.
tell us, this is a little wild card. What
Mhm.
if we opened your TikTok app? What would we find swiping through your For You page?
Prison talk.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, lock me up.
And I
What?
don't know how it happened. I have been trying to figure this out for the life of me. And I'm just like, I don't know what I clicked on or what caught my attention, but you will definitely see Prison Talk. I've learned a lot about how to make a meal on a budget, okay? From swiping.
Okay, tell us a little. What is? I have actually seen a couple, and I don't know what this is going to say about me. I have seen, or maybe it was because I follow you. Whoa! I have seen a couple
Oh,
of the, hey, I'm inmate number 557, and I'm looking for love. Kind of. I saw one of those and was like, what the hell is that? Why is this on my For
yes.
You page?
Yes.
So Jen, have we
Maybe
responded to any of these?
no, no, we have not responded. But I have been like, it is just like, and so like I'm a writer on the side, right? I do a lot of scholarly pieces, but like my heart has been saying maybe you should try a novel, try a YA novel. And so I'm like, is this what my novel is? Is this like the universe saying you're gonna write like a prison romance story? I don't know,
Well,
but
now I want it. So,
that's what you would see if you were on my For You page.
oh,
60 Days in Love. We're
There
into
we
it.
go. There we go.
Wow, interesting.
I
yeah.
know.
I
So
like
let's
it.
talk about your bookshop. First of all, the name, Ase Book Boutique.
Yeah.
Unique, very beautiful. Can you
Thank you.
explain the reasoning behind it, kind of like how you got there? What's the theme? Give us the full
Yeah.
rundown.
So, summer of 2020 was a wild time, right? Like pandemic, police brutality, like Black Lives Matter, so it
Mhm.
was like a season of like unrest, protest. Everybody needs to do their part. And so, like, prior to that, I had already been doing a lot of work, like within my community, scholarly, like I said, producing works for people to read as resources and so on and so on. And I also started meditating at this time. Like, I'm also playing around with religion and where I fit and how I believe, what I believe. So it's just like a lot of things circling at once, right?
Mhm.
But I really fell into meditation pretty heavily and then doing a manifestation journal like together, right? So I do those at the same time. And so at the end of, my meditative sessions, I say ashe, like people typically do. And like when I say it, it's just like this wave of peace that just like rushes over me and like, it's fine, it's done. Proceed, right?
Mhm.
And so as like people were just like, spirits felt chaotic and the country was like falling apart and it was just, a mess, And so I'm like, what can bring people peace? What can I personally do? And books do it for me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let's do it that way. I'm also a teacher. At the time I was teaching English and we would talk about why we're still reading The Outsiders from the 50s, like when there are relevant stories right now that the kids might
Mhm.
relate to a little bit better. Same story, same theme, but they can see themselves in the text. So then I'm like, okay, so how do we do that? Like, how do we counteract this narrative of like Black folks, brown folks being all of the things that we aren't, right? Like, how do we project own voices, own voice text to the forefront? And
Mhm.
that's what I did with the store. And so I'm like, I'm going to just create a space because I'm sick of going to Barnes and Noble and being pushed off to the side. Like, these stories should take up space,
Yeah,
right? Like,
absolutely.
we're over being limited and like silencing and not believing these folks until we see a recording. Like, we're done with that. So I created Ashe to kind of fill in the gap for now, right? So it's virtual for now, which is working out just fine. But I try to center on non oppressive stories and own voice stories and just resources for anybody. Like if you want to be an ally, great. If you're a teacher and you need some resources, perfect. Like if you just want to read a book, I got you, right? And so then to circle back to TikTok, I'm like, well, I'm not going to get my reluctant readers to just read because it's open. Like I have to try to give them a little bit of gin, you know? And here we are.
It
Oh, thank you.
works. Not
Oh,
to, I
thanks.
mean, completely, and Sierra, you keep me reeled in, but long way down, Jen.
Mm,
Jen!
I know. I know.
Ryan sent
It
this to me. He will
is,
not stop talking
Yes.
about it.
I, truth, I swiped through my For You page and I saw your smile and was like, whoo! I
Oh,
was like,
thank
who
you.
is that? And then I went to your page and started just going through a lot of the recs. My husband is also a teacher
Mm,
and elementary. So a lot of
okay.
those, a lot of like the younger elementary books, I was like, I wonder if, do you have that one? Do you have this? And which was so cool. And then I saw your video for A Long Way Down, read it in January, and honestly, I've now read it 3 times, plus
Oh
the
my
graphic
God.
novel, has completely changed what I'm looking at text wise and what books I'm wanting to pick up. And I've now gone through and started kind of a little challenge for myself because of you
Oh,
and doing a lot of these award winning books. So I also picked up All American Boys by Jason Reynolds as
yes,
well. You Should See
yes,
Me in a Crown. There's a lot of like really great award winning stories. Of course, half of them are now like on the banned books
of
list this
course.
year.
Right.
She's like, "What?" But tell me about how does that feel when you see a book, you put it out there on TikTok, and all of a sudden you start getting orders in, and you can tell like, "Damn, I sparked something here." What does that feel like on the other
It,
side?
That's a great
I
question.
feel like, so can I give a backstory and then answer the question?
Of course.
Hell
All right,
yeah.
so I just became a teacher. Like this is my second official year as a teacher. Before that, I was in insurance forever, making great money, great benefits, super easy job, right? But like I always wanted to teach because I never had a teacher. I never had a black teacher, right? Never had a teacher who looked like me. And I remember in sixth grade, we watched Roots in social studies, and it was myself and another black kid, like one of my homeboys. And after the series was over, she said, "Hey, Jen, so how do you feel about what our people did to your people?" And I'm like 12. How old are you in sixth grade? And I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah, like 11 or 12 ish.
I don't know. Like, what do you
Right.
say? Right.
Right.
And so, like, I always go back to that moment and I'm like, how would my experience as a student have been different if I had more representation, if I had a teacher who looked like me? You know what I mean? How would her teaching experience have been different if she had other folks in her circle who maybe didn't look like her? You know what I mean? To bounce off what's appropriate and what's inappropriate, right? And so to inspire is like my whole job. To be a voice, to stand in the gap, to be a representative is like my whole thing. So like when someone is inspired to pick up a book because I don't know, I don't care if it was a smile. You know what I mean? Like or whatever. Like if it inspires someone to take some type of action, that's great. The books on the banned book list are crap, right? Those are the stories that we should be reading. Stop trying to silence and censor. You know what I mean? And those stories are incredible. So like when I get an order, first of all, it's not the easiest thing because, of course, I'm totally out of my comfort zone, like I told you. And sometimes I want to quit because you don't always get orders as a small business, you know? So then
Yeah.
you're like, is my reach even effective? Are people still watching? Is this work even still important? And so, right when I'm ready to just say, oh, be done, go back to insurance girl, like leave it alone, like an order will come through. And then I'm like, okay, you know, I'm still moving in the direction I'm supposed to move. So it just feels like I'm fulfilling my little purpose. So I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I
you
I
are.
know
love
this is
that.
not supposed to be mushy, y'all, but it's just like,
No.
Heck
cut it
yeah, we could be
out.
mush.
Can we be
The
mushy?
purpose is learning all about you. So that's absolutely wonderful. And I kind of
Yeah.
want to ask you, since we're talking about banned books, I want to ask you as a teacher, how are you seeing critical race theory being handled in schools now? You would be having a hands-on experience with that. How's it affecting the students? How's it affecting you and other teachers that you see, and POC and Black students in particular, or even white students?
The crazy part is that it's not the kids. Like the kids want this stuff. The kids want these conversations and they want these books, right? Um, Books like Speak or like The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, like these books relate to women. Like some of our students have been through some pretty serious situations. You know what I mean? Like, and to not give them the space to just be seen or to just even feel seen if they don't want to talk about it. I feel like that is a disservice to our students. Another thing about like critical race theory is that you seriously have to be like, have to have a PhD to even understand the tenets of it and how to teach it and how to articulate it well. And the fact that folks in society think that us as K through 12 teachers are teaching CRT just blows my mind. Like, you got your words wrong, right? So, like, do we teach culturally relevant stuff? Yeah, we do that. You know what I mean? Do we create communities within our classroom that allow for every student to be protected and safe if we were to have a conversation centered on race or inequality or injustice? We have that community established, right? Let teachers teach. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
if
yes.
you are so concerned, then go get your license. We have a whole teacher shortage. Okay, we could use the folks, right?
Right.
Otherwise, trust that we are here to protect the children and we're going to do what is in their best interest, right? Um, Another thing is that it just goes back to whose story is worthy of being told and who are we trying to protect, right? So with CRT, and like I study a bit of intersectionality. So find Kimberly Crenshaw, read all of her stuff too. But you know, who are we protecting? Whose voice? Who are we giving voice to, and who are we taking voice from? So with CRT, one of the tenets is the art of the counter story, of the counter narrative, right? So if we aren't basically, to me, that means that we want to believe the stereotypes of these folks. We don't want to allow the people who have lived it to offer a counter story to dispel that. And so folks are all up in arms because that holds certain folks accountable and they've never been held accountable before. You know what I mean? So of course I'm
Yeah.
going to be like, "Oh shoot, don't touch that. We don't need to know that." Yes, we absolutely do. Because all of our students deserve voice and representation and to be seen and to be heard.
How are you personally combating that with students who may approach you and say, Miss Jen, Cat in the Hat was cool, but I'm looking for something a little bit, like you say, more representative of me. How do you combat that when you have these restrictions on your back as a teacher? What can you do?
I have books up, all kinds of books up. So I have a shelf behind my desk and I just display books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have like the 57 bus up there. Like I have all kinds of stories up there for my kids. I teach eighth grade. I don't feel like they're beyond picture books, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I have picture books displayed in my classroom. I have books like Crown, Ode to the Fresh Cut. You know what I mean? Like boys feel
Mm-hmm.
super fly
Mm-hmm.
when they get their haircut. So I have all of those
Yeah.
books up there. So maybe Dr. Seuss is questionable, right? But this book called Love is like one to counter that. You know what I mean? So like I have the options for them. And it is like I feel like I have arrived, honey, when students ask me for a book recommendation. So like, yes, please ask me. I
Yes.
got you. I will walk you to the library, right? So I give them what they need. And like I talk to my students just like this. You know, like we bring ourselves to the table. And so they have no problem asking the questions that they need to ask or asking for recommendations. So, again, the
Mm-hmm.
classroom community is everything. If they feel safe with you, they'll ask you for the stuff they need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love
I
that.
think that's such a good point that we've talked a couple times just about our newer generation being so much more equipped for so many things than our past generations, the generation before us. And I see it so much in Tennessee, just the kids that are like, you see someone make a really shitty comment in
Mm-hmm.
public, and you are like taken aback, and the kid is mortified. You know what I'm saying? And they have the cognitive understanding of like, this is hateful. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
hatefulness here, and it's that weird "what about me"isms that come out, and it's like you can just understand that something happened in the past and say absolutely that is true, and not immediately feel like I am a horrific person. It's like, well, we can understand history, without making it like some big dramatic thing that we can't speak about. It's really a really strange, weird fear that I don't understand, but I applaud you because I'm sure, especially eighth grade.
Yeah, Shrew
Shwoo!
is right. Okay.
And those were
That's
such
all
really
kinds of
important
emotions.
years. Those like formative years, that age range, and they're learning who they
Oh
are
my
and what they
gosh.
like. Oh my
It is
God.
exhausting. It is exhausting. And so I've been like, okay, Jen, let's try to have a dry week. And I'll get to like, it's Tuesday. Somebody whine me, please. Give me a glass. No, I love my students. I love them. But it is eighth grade is middle school is, y'all remember middle school? Middle school is a hot
The
mess.
worst. It was
That
the
was really
Like
worst.
rough.
you don't
Do you
know.
have any students that have found you on TikTok?
Oh my
We all
gosh.
like get nervous in our jobs. Have you had any of your teacher friends or students? I feel like eighth graders are probably on
Oh my
TikTok. That's
gosh.
Yeah.
terrifying, but
Yes, and it's mortifying. But like I keep it clean for the most part. I don't really curse as much as I want to because of them. They do see it. And then they think it's the coolest thing. They're like, oh, I found your TikTok. You're still talking about books. It's so funny. Like it's a book
that's
talk.
so
Yeah,
cool.
I am.
Yeah.
And so like in the comments, like sometimes guys will, make little flirtatious comments. And then my students will be like, this is my teacher. She is not interested. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's so cute
So
though.
That is cute.
So yeah, some of them have found me. It is strange, but it is what it is. It's fine.
That's so fun.
Oh, I love those kids for real. I really do. They're something
Amazing.
else.
I bet that they adore you.
I've been told I'm the favorite, so I'll take it. I'll take it.
I want to go back to the name of your bookstore because I was telling Ryan about what the word ashe means. And I know you were saying you were playing around with religion and spirituality. And the way I explained it to him, which I just wanted to kind of like get a reassuring from you, was the way I explained ashe was almost in a sense of like, it means amen. Like, it would be like equivalent to a amen, right? Kind of
Yes.
like it is done
Yes.
in a sense.
Exactly.
So naming your bookstore that, and I don't think you realize like you have put yourself in a situation for flourishment and just like an amazing opportunity. I think you naming your bookstore that really puts you in a space of saying like this is it, like this is my journey,
Ooh,
this is my space.
come
It is
on.
done.
Just gave me
Ashe.
chills.
Receive all the gifts. Yes.
Sheesh. No, I didn't think about it like that. But yes,
Yeah.
I do take it to mean it is done. Peace. Like I'm
Mhm.
in, like I said, after I meditate, Ashe. But what you just said, sis, my goodness.
Oh
It'll be recorded, so you can
Yes.
yes.
Replay this moment.
clip that out, put
Right.
that on the website, okay?
Yes. For
Absolutely,
real.
absolutely.
Oh, I like that.
S- So let's switch gears for a little bit. What do you do outside of when you're not teaching and you're not recommending books and you're not handling orders? What's Jen like to do? How is she chilling? How is she taking a load off?
Jen is usually on her couch watching 90 Day Fiance or My 600 Pound Life. No,
Dr. No is amazing,
oh my
okay?
gosh, she plays no games. I'm just here for it. I'm like, I need that kind of like assertiveness, okay, in my day to
Mhm.
day. I've been trying to just be healthier overall. I do have two kids. My son is about to be a freshman, so he's in eighth grade right now. I know. So I had him when I
Ooh.
was 19, and
Mhm.
I apologize to him every day. I'm like, I'm so sorry that we had to grow up together, but we're good now, right? So I'm usually with him, with my kids, and then my daughter is 6, and she is my mini activist, feminist, superhero woman. And I'm like, yep, I'm like parenting is on point right now, right? Because Jaden was like, my son was like,
Amazing.
my oh shoot, but like my daughter's like, oh, I got the game now. I know what to do. So I'm usually with my kids. Just we are so simple. We are just simple. We watch TV together. We'll go on walks. We'll take quick trips to like St. Louis or Chicago. I'm like smack dab in the middle of Illinois, so both are like 2 hours, and I'm just living. I got into, I got ambitious goals here, so I would love to become a professor pretty soon. I just got into the
Yes.
University of Illinois Chicago for grad school for a PhD.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So
Congratulations.
I'm trying to see how that is going to look for the
Big.
fall. But my goal is to be teaching at somebody's HBCU in the next like decade. So
Yeah.
Do
baby
We
steps.
need, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
Well, having
amazing.
children, I'm glad you said that. Well, does having children really kind of push you into wanting to be a teacher? Did you find that it was kind of fulfilling as a mother for you to foster that environment of learning and reading? Like, did that push you in any way to want to be a teacher?
Yes and no. So
Mm,
having an eighth grader and teaching eighth grade is a lot, right? I'm like,
mhm,
it never stops, you know, like home and
mhm,
school. Um, but my son, I didn't think that racial gaslighting was a thing until my son and I experienced it together. And so that kind of, and I experienced that with him when I was in my teacher education program. So he was in elementary school at some time and at the time, and he was super quiet, reserved, very shy. He's like the kid that watches anime, you know, really low key, doesn't bother
mhm,
anybody. He had like a speech delay, like impediment for a while, so he didn't like to talk to people for a bit. Um, and he was getting picked on for it, you know. And then he has like, not to be stereotypical, of course, but he has like very black features, we'll just say it. So he's got the nose and the lips and the things, but he's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like we
yeah,
celebrate
yeah.
all of these things. But he was teased for
Mhm,
it, you know, in elementary school. And so he would tell his teachers, and they would be like, no, I don't think that kid would treat you like that. Like, you know, it's in your head basically. But tell his teachers, nothing happened, nothing happened. I would get involved. We'll take care of it, but nothing would happen. So eventually, like inside, he's like, okay, I'm over it. And now he's lashing, you know what I mean, out at the
mhm,
kids. And so then the emails came in where your son is aggressive and he's disruptive and we don't think he's going to succeed if he keeps his behavior like that. He needs a check in and check out process because we don't trust that he can make good decisions by himself. All of the
wow,
things, right, that they say
wow.
to paint
Yeah.
these pictures of these black kids was literally happening to my son. And so I was like, at the time, I had like 1 year left. I was about to start student teaching. And I was like, and I have a bomb mentor, by the way, Dr. Jennifer Martin at University of Illinois Springfield. Okay, I love her to death. But at the time, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I had a great job. I can go back to that job. I need to be fully present for my son. He needs me right now. And she said, he needs you right now because 1,000 other students just like him are going to need you later. Right? You're not dropping out of school. And I was like, oh, yes, I am. Like, she don't have kids. She don't know. Right? Like, still defiant.
Mhm.
And she was like, no, you're not. You're going to send them this resource. You're going to tell them that they are literally pushing him out of school. This is literally what contributes to the school to prison pipeline, so on and so on. Don't let them gaslight
Mm,
you. You see it for yourself. You know your kid. He is not any of these things. Right? And I'm like, you're right. And so the school was sick of me, needless to say, by the time I was
mm,
done with them. But all of a sudden, we're so sorry. You're right. We didn't hear him out. This kid was bullying him. Like, and it's
mm.
just crazy to me how if you don't have the tools that you need, and when people assume that you don't have the tools that you need, how they will literally paint a picture of you, you know what I mean, or for you that
Yes.
follows you, right? Um, and so having kids, as far as literacy goes, that kind of solidified my space in education, that experience.
Mhm.
But before, like just having a kid, I was like, who wants to not work to student teach and take care of children? Like, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? But
Mm,
the
yeah.
experiences that I have witnessed from myself and that I see in our schools, I'm like, yeah, literacy is fundamental. Like, we need to know how to read these things. My kids with special education plans and IEPs, you guys need to know what this stuff means. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're not in the field, you don't really know. You know what I mean? You're just signing off on stuff. So, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
yes and no to your question, but more yes.
Wow, Jen. Wow. Thank you for everything. Like,
Thank you. Yes,
no,
good
seriously, that's
questions.
that's a, such an important, and I don't think a lot of people realize that when they are, and I can only imagine how many other women in your maybe in a similar situation chose not to because they saw it for themselves firsthand of how the system was kind of suppressing the voices of their children. So thank you so much for to your mentor for one telling you,
She's
yeah, actually
amazing.
you most have been
Yeah,
here,
like that.
but and then you following through. That means wow, that's such a very strong story. Wow, wow.
Yep.
Whew. Oh my gosh.
It's unbelievable how the boxes that people put you in can affect every piece of your life after that, and that you can't even get out of it. It's just that's insane. But I am, how grateful your son must be to have a mom like
I
you.
get on his
Because, I
nerves.
Absolutely.
mean, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
you know.
okay. Ooh,
I know.
juice.
Okay, I think with that, it is time for us to switch and do our show and tell.
Let's
Yes?
do
Hmm.
So
it.
every episode, we have our guests, our lovely guests, come in, show us something, either what they're reading, what they changed their life, or just anything that kind of really represents them and what they're going through. So, Jen, what's your show and tell
Well,
for
my first one
us?
was long way down, but I already showed it. Okay, so this one for sure,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's the one that brought us together.
It
Hmm.
is. That's so true.
Anything Jason Reynolds, I'm always reading that. But I brought this one by Jan Levin's Peace from Broken Pieces, because this was kind of the book that transformed my mindset. I am going to be totally honest, and I am a lot better now. But back in the day, I used to really, really struggle with like anxiety and depression, and the combo of the two is just like, overwhelming. Um, and I feel like this book saved my life, honestly. So, like I said, I graduated high school early to go to Clark, Atlanta. Literally found out I was pregnant and was offered. Sorry, Jaden, if you hear this. The family was like, "Don't keep it. Go to college. We'll pay for it." Right? You graduated early for this, and I just couldn't do it. Clearly, because my boy is here, I couldn't do it, and so now I'm this 19-year-old mother, kicked out of my parents' place. Got to figure it out with this baby. Thank God for good friends. And I didn't see a way of getting through that. I'm like 19, 20. And this book pulled me out of it for real. And so I still go back to it when I'm just having a moment or when I'm just reflecting, like, girl, you came a long way, So
Ooh,
I
Jen. Oh
know,
my
like, I'm
God.
about to tear up just thinking about it. So this is a good book. And it's so cool to like go back and read things like when you're healthy, and then like compare it to where you were, just because sometimes you just need to literally feel and see the growth, So yeah, Peace from Broken Pieces is what I brought to share with y'all today. Bye.
Can you tell us a little synopsis?
So it's basically her finding her way out of her dark path, right? And so she tries to recount the stories the best way that she can, but she's also raising children by herself, and had some moments where she needed public assistance and had some substance abuse problems. And there was one, I marked it, I believe. And so I am writing a book called Mentoring the Mentor. It was supposed to come out already, but it's not out yet. And I'm writing it with my mentor, the lady I told you about. And I use this quote.
Yeah.
I'll just read it to you real quick. I don't know the copyright laws, but it is from her book. I'm citing her. Okay.
Okay.
So it says, sometimes when you fall down, you just have to lie still and hope that no one runs you over. If they don't, and you lay there long enough, taking care to be very still, breathing slowly, refusing to whine, God will lift you and perform a soul surgery. And so for me, that's like, girl, you got to go through it and you have to sit in it and you have to feel it and you have to process every single thing. Like, you cannot just overlook the things. Like, you're mad. Why? Like, sit with that. You know what I mean? And so, like,
Hmm.
this book taught me, like, it's not always going to be flowers and rainbows and glitter every day. You know what I mean? As much as you are that person,
Absolutely.
like, but appreciate those days. And when it's gloomy days and rain and sleet, like, what do you feel? And process that. You know what I mean? Like, so that book taught me that. And I love it. And I'm forever
Wow.
grateful for that one.
My friend Kelsey, if you are listening, you are like, my friend Kelsey constantly says, she'll be upset about something, and I'm like, okay, but look at the bright side of this. And every time she goes, Ryan, let me feel my feelings right now.
Yes.
And I'm like, and she goes, I just need to sit and feel this and go through that whole journey to be okay with it. And you just like connected it for me. It was like, damn, sometimes you really just need to take a minute. That's, and you said that was Ileana Van Zant?
Iyanla.
Yeah, Yama
Iyan.
Van
I can
Zant.
never say her
Iyanla.
first name right. I'm sorry, sis. Iyanla.
You're fine.
Okay.
Me too.
I am
That was
just
such a
this.
good
This
show and
interview is just
tell. I know.
Oh,
so very touching and very just. Oh my God, this is. I think this. Don't tell anybody else, but I think this
I
might be one of my
got you.
favorites.
Okay.
Okay, don't tell anybody. Don't. Just
Right.
Just okay. Just us three here. Keep it a secret. I
No,
want to
it
kind of
is. It's
switch.
important, and it's you're not alone on so many of those depression and anxiety. I'm like envious that you're over it. Some of us are not yet. But conversations like this and just the things that you're talking about, things I would never understand. However, like to be in your moment, to listen to it, and for other people to hear this is it's gonna be unfreaking believable. I just am like
Oh my
sweating over
gosh.
here. I hope I'm not like
That Ashe is
giddy.
coming true. I don't think you realize when people see this and hear like how passionate and intentional you are. I really think things are gonna change for you, sis. Like
Oh
wonderful.
boy. Okay.
Absolutely
I
Thank
know
wonderful.
there's
you.
like a glow just like
Yeah, you are
coming through.
just
It's
it is radiating through
ooh.
the
Oh my
computer, sis. Like,
gosh.
Uh-huh.
woo.
Uh-huh. My arm hairs have stood up several
Okay.
times.
I do not
Okay.
have tissues
Woo!
close, so
Okay, I'm gonna stop. Let's switch gears because I do want to ask you a question. Ryan and I both saw that you had been talking about The Perfect Find by Tia Williams for like 5 videos straight on TikTok. Now listen, they sent me a free copy. I have the book. I haven't read it yet. I can't read because I'm short. But we haven't read it yet, and
We have
you
not.
talked about it so much. Give us a synopsis because, like, I mean, clearly that book must have been amazing. 'Cause I'm like, oh, sis is good and
oh my
heavy on this
gosh.
book.
I'm not even through it, and I'm only on like chapter 16.
It's that good. It's that good.
That's so funny. No, because it is just like, so I'm single, right? And like,
Mhm.
I'm enjoying it for now, right? And so like all of the things that this lady is going through is just like blowing my mind. I'm just like, oh my gosh. All right, so um to not really ruin it, but she is this fashion editor and she was like big time, like all over the globe with this man, the perfect man for all this time. She was trying to be every single thing for him. For him to just not want the family life that they were supposed to create anymore and dipped on her, right? And so now she was like, what did I do that for? You know what I mean? And I'm like, we
Yeah.
do this all the time. Like we do this like at work, we do this in our relationships, we do this with our friends. Like why are we doing this, right? People are going to do what they want to do. Like be you. And so like I just really felt touched there. So then she has this crazy passionate moment with this younger guy. And when she finds out who he is, it is just, and I don't want to ruin it because I want y'all to read it. But when she finds out who he is related to, she's just like, oh, fuck. Like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? Like, I was just fine staying in my bubble. My girls made me go out and do this. And I met this guy and it was great. And now they work together and she sees him every day. And he's related to like her nemesis. So I'm just like, I
Ah! Okay, say no more. I'm
know.
picking
And
it up. I'm picking it up.
halfway through, that's halfway through the book. And so I'm just like, and I'm not
Wow.
even like a romance reader. Like I read social justice books, right? And so I've been like dabbling in romance and I'm just like so entertained. It's been great. It's so good. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna pick it up. I'm going
I'm
to
gonna
pick it
Yes.
start
up.
it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, with that being said, I think it's time for our very last segment of the show, which we call Quick Wit Rapid Fire. 10 easy questions, Jen. You don't have to worry, they're not hard questions. Ryan and I will alternate back and forth. Ryan, take it away.
Jen at Ase Book Boutique. Are you ready for some quick
Yeah,
wit?
let's do it.
Morning, noon, or night?
Morning.
Favorite book growing up or your favorite book from high school?
Oh, do you guys remember the Meet Addie series, the American Girl? Yes.
Yes. Yes, I do. Had the doll and
Yes.
everything.
My sister's a Mallory, and I believe had
Yeah.
Mallory the doll. Where are you a regular?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Come on, Duncan.
I love Duncan. Um, Celeb that's a friend in your head or a celeb that you have a crush on?
Besides Jason Reynolds, Usher for sure. Me and Usher are like
Ooh.
long-term partners. He just doesn't know.
Hmm. You got it bad.
Hmm.
If you could take us anywhere in the world tomorrow, where are we going?
Oh my God, we're going to my mama's hometown in Phoenix City, Alabama. Hmm.
I never been to Alabama.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Do you fall asleep to music, TV, or nothing?
TV, but to ocean waves on YouTube.
Okay.
What is your best Halloween costume ever?
I was a really sexy. I was a sexy inmate.
It's all coming
Full
back.
Full
circle.
circle.
Yep.
Full circle.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Well,
Okay.
now we know about prison
Uh-huh.
Now we.
talk.
Uh-huh.
Now we know
There
how
we
it
Uh-huh.
go.
got there.
Hey, you know,
What is your theme song or your go-to karaoke song?
Who Run the World Girls by Beyonce. Girls.
Hmm.
Beyonce's always a good choice.
Yep.
How many books have you read this year?
Oh, maybe 10? Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good.
Last question. What was the last thing to make you
You
smile?
guys, I know that's corny, but this has been so good.
No.
You
We'll take
guys.
it.
Oh my God. Jen, I have standing
Oh,
ovation.
to
I mean, a
you.
million
Thank you
times
guys
Standing
over.
so
Yes, yes,
much.
yes,
ovation.
yes.
Thanks so much.
We really appreciate you being on the show. Really quick, give everybody the rundown. Where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they go to get books? Order books from you.
Ase Book Boutique on all social media handles. Okay,
Oh,
that's
oh,
it.
that's it.
That's it. Hey, hey,
Perfect.
hey. Love
Perfect,
it.
perfect,
Oh,
perfect. Jen,
Jen,
thank you
so
so much.
inspiring, so unbelievable. You just radiate this, like, I can't even explain it. See, are you feeling like the same?
I
mm.
Like,
am. I am. I'm feeling I'm feeling
Oh my
inspired.
gosh.
yep.
I am. I'm just,
That just warmed my heart.
Our
thank
cheeks are
you.
full.
Good. Oh my
I
gosh.
know, right?
Same. Thank you guys so much.
So, Ryan, I was not expecting my life to be changed this afternoon.
I know. And now, I mean, talk about sit in your feelings. I need to go sit in my feelings. And
Listen,
really,
maybe
honestly, I need to like. I didn't even take notes. Like I know, I was very enthralled that we went on. We went so deep into so many interesting places, and like I'm talking like soul deep. Like I really feel deeply touched. And
I
where do we even begin?
one, I feel like I need a good cry. Yes, I need a good cry,
I agree.
and then also, I just ooh, let's just talk about how calm she really seems at peace. And I do think it has a lot to do with her book, her show and tell, Ayanna Van Zant, Broken Pieces. I forget the name
All
because
the
I did
broken pieces.
all the broken pieces. Yes, I mean you can tell she's really done the work. And even though she's rather young, she's had some really experience. Some you can tell she had a lot of experiences and things.
Yeah,
And she has it together. I am. I did not expect this interview to go so deep.
I didn't
I just
either.
thought we were going to have a cute little chit chat, talk about the bookstore. And we did. We had some really beautiful moments. But oh my God, I am
We'll
really
talk
touched.
about someone's life story that could be a book or and should probably be content for people to see, and because I'm sure that there's so many pieces that a lot of people are going to connect with. Um, having a child at 19 and those experiences, and then having an adult child while you are teaching that same grade, and then seeing how other people are teaching people in those grades
Right. And then we
is
have to,
wild.
I mean, I really think that when she becomes this professor, I think she's going to change so many lives. And I really do think that when people see this interview, they're going to be so touched by her and her calmness and her spirit. Oh my God. I'm a fan now, you know?
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of her. I just Ryan, my mind is blown
I
right now.
know.
You
I know. And
know?
you know what's so great is that for so many really deep moments to have happened throughout her life, obviously have shaped her so like huge, but the books that Jen really focuses on and the books that Jen puts out for those kids are the non-oppressive stories. It's the Black joy stories. And so
Yes.
that I am like, hell yeah, that you have like taken all of those moments and thought, wow, I'm going to now inspire people like I didn't have the inspiration. And
Mhm.
that was really interesting. That story about her in school watching Roots, I thought was very interesting and also sad. I mean, how many
Yeah.
times I'm sure has someone asked you an inappropriate question because of ignorance,
Yes.
or do you, I mean, you're like, we can't even.
How much time do you have?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a 24
Exactly.
episode season, so.
Right. We'll do it.
But
We'll come back to
right,
it.
yeah, yep.
Right. But and you know what I also love? You can tell like her students really love her and care about her because they want to
That was
be up under
funny.
her and they want to protect
Yes.
her and
Yeah.
they want to just and I think that just attest to like how much she really puts into what she's doing. You can tell by the way she talks about it, the passion that she has in her voice, the way her eyes were lighting up when she talks about being a teacher and changing lives, and then really listening to her story about what made her know for sure that that was the way she wanted to go with her life because she had a full scholarship ride to Clark Atlanta
Yep.
and chose completely different. Wow. Wow.
I'm fascinated to know what those scholarly essays look like, and I want to read them, and I can't wait for the book,
Yes.
Mentoring the Mentor,
Mentor.
with her mentor. I was
That's
so
so
enthralled in the
cute.
conversation. I'm sorry I did not take notes on that name, but that's such a cool story, and it sounds like it's, I mean, pretty deep in the process. I think it sounds like they are close to publication.
I
So
can't
stay
wait.
tuned.
I know. When's the pre-order dropping? You know, so I can put mine.
Exclusively at Ase Book Boutique. Okay.
Yes, yes. Oh,
Wow.
Ryan.
I know. It's so crazy. I'm telling you, TikTok is one of the most amazing freaking places. You see this incredible person. I've read a book that has changed my life that I can't stop thinking about. It's changing the way I'm writing, the way I'm thinking. And then because of that connection, we get to bring this person on. We're talking to them. And then this is it's just the most amazing trail of connections and deep experiences that I am so unbelievably fucking grateful for. I cannot tell you how excited that just made me. I am so like beyond grateful that I got to meet her.
Absolutely. I do feel full right now, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I feel like that was a really really good conversation.
She's a special person, and I
Oh
think going
my
to be a really
God. Oh
big
yeah.
influential person in this
Well, you know,
world.
she's already cemented it in stone with the name of her boutique. Ashe. It is done.
It is
Yes.
done. Wow.
Oh
Is that how we should close? Should we close it on Ashe?
my Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please be sure to follow us on all of our social media. We are on TikTok at sierra.and.ryan, and we are on YouTube at sierra.and.ryan.talktok. Please make sure that you are commenting, subscribing, and sharing. Share, 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 share. That really helps us a lot. And we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. So until next time, Ashe.